What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here on a Sunday night. I see we have a little bit of activity already here. I see people already waiting, and I much appreciate that so much. Get everything in order here for our live stream. If you're just joining us on the channel, my name is Ramos Jr. We talk professional wrestling on occasion. We do a little bit of live streams and gaming, making sure I have everything in order here. Kevin, what's going on? Appreciate you, my guy, always in the chat, consistently having me motivated, if anything. Who's my favorite McMahon? This is why I wanted to do the live stream too. One, because something different and give you guys an opportunity to see some visuals, which is why, I'll be playing 2K. But also to kind of give you an opportunity to ask me anything. Honestly, I feel like a lot of times we're talking about the WWE, we're talking about the product, we're talking about the landscape of professional wrestling, but I wanted to open it up to you guys and give you the opportunity to ask anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling, sports, or just in general. So Kevin, obviously, with the first question, Jose, who's your favorite McMahon? Vince winning Rumble in '99 was crazy. It's Shane. For me personally, it's Shane. Just knowing what he went through in terms of his relationship with his father, as well as the respect that he had to earn from the boys. I mean, the stuff he was doing, whether it was like King of the Ring '01 or the SummerSlam 2000 fall against Steve Blackman, he was never shy about putting his body on the line, not only for our source of entertainment, but also because it was a way of him earning his keep. And I admire that. I respect that so much. But Vince winning the Rumble is crazy. I remember, so obviously I grew up in like the Ruthless Aggression era, so I didn't get to see a lot of the Attitude Era live. And I bought the Royal Rumble box set that included the Vince McMahon win, and when Vince won, it caught me off guard. I didn't know he won at that point because I was still a young kid, because I thought for sure Austin would have won. But I still can't believe they went ahead and had Vince go over in that one. I mean, did it make sense in terms of like heat? Yeah. I mean, he's one of the biggest heels of all time. But to have him win a Rumble is crazy. And to do it from the number 2 spot, no less. So I'm just going to do like a throwaway matchup here to give people an opportunity to join us here on the live stream. And then what I want to do is let's just do random. What I want to do, actually no, is obviously if you've seen in the title of the live stream, what I want to do is a Royal Rumble that would include a list of legends, whether they have won the Royal Rumble, maybe they were a big part of the Royal Rumble, but we're going to see who is Mr. Royal Rumble. We know, of course, that Shawn Michaels was Mr. WrestleMania. I think some people have made the argument that for Mr. SummerSlam, it could go either way. I've heard some people throw out Bret Hart. I've heard people throw out guys like Brock Lesnar. But for the Royal Rumble, what we're going to do, following this matchup, if you're just joining us here on the live stream, I'm going to do a quick throwaway matchup here. Following this match, we're going to have a Royal Rumble event, 30 superstars. Obviously, we don't have every single Royal Rumble winner in this game, so we're going to fill up those spots with individuals who were runner-ups. So you're going to have guys like Mr. Perfect was a runner-up, right? Macho Man was a runner-up. Trying to think of other guys who were in recent years were runner-ups. Gunther was a runner-up in 2023. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do like a little throwaway matchup here, giving people an opportunity to join us in the live stream. And again, feel free to throw out any questions. This is an opportunity, one, to just enjoy, some gameplay, but also opening the floor up to you guys. I want to hear from you guys in terms of perspective, in terms of any questions or comments you guys want to have thrown my way. Because I feel like we talk a lot about pro wrestling. obviously, right? I mean, the channel is dedicated towards pro wrestling. But this is basically, this live stream is basically your guys' live stream. Whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. We got John Cena versus Randy Orton here. A matchup that I'm hoping we're going to see at some point in 2025. Now that we know that John Cena's career is coming to an end, obviously 2025, the farewell tour for John. He's got to get one more match in with Randy. These guys are synonymous with one another. You know, they came in together 2002. They were in OVW. They really rose to prominence around the same time, both winning Intercontinental and U.S. title reigns in 2004 before finally winning the world titles. Obviously, Orton did it in 2004 at the SummerSlam event. John Cena doing it at WrestleMania 21 in 05. Definitely one of Cena's greatest rivals. For Cena, I think you got to look at guys like Randy, of course, Edge, and CM Punk. For me, those are the top three. Kevin, since you posed the question, I'm curious, what about you? Who's your favorite McMahon? Like I said, my favorite is probably going to be Shane. He's probably the most sane. And I say that lightly because of the stunts he was able to pull off in the ring. But I'll side with Shane on that one. Kevin with another comment here. Do you think Eddie Guerrero's death made Rey Mysterio's championship possible, or was Rey always destined for the title? I think a guy like Rey Mysterio for sure was worthy of winning the title. But I mean, let's be transparent. Let's be obvious. Let's be honest. Eddie Guerrero's passing really expedited the process of Rey winning the championship. Obviously, they go off of story, and having the passing of Eddie being so unexpected, they, you know, for the lack of a better phrase, they really capitalized on it with Rey Mysterio winning the Rumble. Now, a guy like Rey Mysterio, I think, is very deserving of it. He's a company guy. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. In my opinion, he's the greatest luchador of all time. But Eddie Guerrero's passing, I think, certainly expedited and sped up the process here for Rey Mysterio. But I don't think it should take away from it. It shouldn't take away from it. I think Rey winning the Rumble was fantastic. It's one of my favorite Rumble moments, and him winning the world title goes down as one of my favorite moments growing up. But you have to be honest and transparent about it, that it was influenced by Eddie. Shout out to Vince because he changed the wrestling industry by turning a carnival gig into a worldwide promotion. Yeah, obviously. I mean, you can't take away anything from Vince the businessman. Say what you want about Vince the person. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Vince. But what he's done for the industry, certainly, you can't deny it. It's like how I always say with Hulk Hogan. I think it's well documented that I'm not the biggest Hogan guy for more of like the character reasons than personal. But even then, given his personal track record, you can't deny their influence on the industry. Whether it's Hogan or... Oh, he countered. whether it's Hogan or McMahon, two very instrumental pieces into how we consume pro wrestling nowadays, for sure. Hey, Sab, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Who would be your dream wrestler, dead or alive, to interview? Eddie Guerrero. 100%. There's a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. There are so many people to choose from. And unfortunately, in this business that we love, it's very commonplace to have wrestlers, die early. It shouldn't be that way, but that's just how it is. And Eddie Guerrero certainly, I think, is at the top of my list. Just because of what he meant to me and my family, and his in-ring style, his charisma. And on top of that, the Hispanic influence. He was for the culture. Whether you were Hispanic or not, Eddie Guerrero could translate to any generation, to any culture. But Eddie Guerrero by far is the easiest answer. Aside from Eddie, Owen. Certainly Owen. I think he didn't get enough props. He didn't get enough opportunity with his time. Owen for sure. This one might be recency biased, but Bray Wyatt, mostly because of the mind. His creative input into the latest iteration of the WWE. I would have very much liked to have picked his brain in terms of his creative process. He's a big horror fanatic. I myself am a horror fanatic, so I feel like that's something we could have discussed so it wasn't stuck to wrestling. It could also be out to just horror in general. But I'm a big movie buff. I'm a big horror guy. So I feel like that's something that we certainly could have shared. Thoughts on someone like Chris Benoit Jr.? Oh, hold on. I almost tapped out there. Thoughts on Benoit's son pursuing wrestling with the same name as his dad? Well, it's a shame because David is never going to break into the business. And I don't say that maliciously. It's just because he looks too much like his dad. And again, the negative perspective on Chris will prevent him from doing that. Because obviously we know the Benoit tragedy. He just one weekend. You guys know. You guys know about the Benoit tragedy. But as it comes to his son, I don't think he's ever going to break through the business. He can try, and people can try to help him and train. I've read and seen documentaries where Chavo and Chris Jericho are close with him. And aside from that, not a lot of people were or are. But it would be very difficult for him to break into the business. He can give it a try. And if he somehow does make it, it's probably going to be using a different name. I don't think he's going to have to use the Benoit name. But Benoit would be an interesting interview. Take away what had occurred on the night of June 2007. But prior to that, Benoit was a fantastic wrestler. He would have gone down as one of the greatest of all time. But now, his legacy will forever be what took place that final weekend. This might be it here. What's your horror movie? What's my favorite horror movie? I'm a slasher guy. I'm very big into slasher movies. And ironically enough, it's probably going to be the Scream franchise. Namely Scream 1. Scream 1's my favorite. I love the Scream franchise, but Scream 1, just because of how innovative it was, for how meta the inside jokes and the references to other films, as well as just the cast is fantastic. You had guys and girls like Neve Campbell, David Arquette, former WCW champion, Courtney Cox was there. I'm a big Matthew Lillard fan. I love Matt Lillard in Scream, the Scooby-Doo franchise, Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought was pretty good. Scream for sure. Aside from that, I do like the Halloween franchise, and Freddy Krueger, Jason. I'm a big fan of slasher. Aside from that, um, other ones that stay on my radar that I really enjoy watching, I like Chucky. Again, I'm a big slasher guy, but I do like the Conjuring movies. You know, when it comes to like ghosts and supernatural stuff, anything horror related, I'm down. I'm super down. There's a new horror movie that came out last year called Long Legs, and I believe Nick Cage is in it. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard a lot of good things. I want to watch that movie, so one of these days I'm gonna get to it. How about if he wears a mask? Hey Alex, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by on the live stream. Appreciate you. If you guys are wondering why our friend Alex here is highlighted and has a little badge next to their name, is because they've joined the Main Event Mafia, where they can get exclusive content like videos, live streams, posts, shorts. Anyway, Alex though, how about if he wears a mask? I think that's a possibility. If he wore a mask and changed his name, certainly. I think certainly it would be. I think that would be his best bet. Wear a mask and change your name. Again, what we know from David Benoit is he's very proud of his father's work. And I mean, like, of course, like, who wouldn't be proud of their dad? You know I am. So you want to carry that legacy, but given the circumstances, he's probably going to have to change his name and change his look. That's probably his best bet. That's probably his best bet, Alex. So great point there. What did you think about the Terrifier movies? I get it. I get it. And Art the Clown certainly is an entertaining presence, and he, I think, is going to go down as this generation's next horror icon. Like how, there's Freddy and Jason and Michael, like all the guys we named, right? But sometimes I think they kind of pushes the line. For me personally, I get why people are fans of it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm always like the kind of guy where less is more. I think the scariest thing is the human imagination. And so I'm of the fan base where it's like, I don't necessarily need to see what's going on. And Terrifier does not hold back. Does not hold back. I haven't seen the third one. I've seen the first two, but I haven't seen the third one yet. But it's a very popular franchise. And again, I get why. I see it. I understand it. So right now here, we're going to be doing the Royal Rumble. The greatest Royal Rumble. Not that knockoff one they did in Saudi Arabia. We're going to have a list of superstars and legends that had won the Royal Rumble or had been the runner-up to see once and for all who is Mr. Royal Rumble. As you see, there's certain people already here that I'm not knocking off because they're going to be included. I got to change my face here for a second just to see. We'll take these guys out as well. You guys won't see my face for the time being because I'm going to be adding the participants here. So obviously the rule is if you've been in the match or if you've been the runner-up, you're going to be included. You've already qualified in my book. Batista, for example, is going to be added. These guys were not. No. Braun Strowman was a runner-up in 2019. Bret Hart won in 94. Bulldog was a runner-up in 95. Nobody here. Nobody here. Punk was a runner-up last year. Diesel was a runner-up in 96. McIntyre won in 2020. Gunther was a runner-up. We already have John in there. Kane was a runner-up as well. They should add a feature of a number one contenders match. What's a feature you want WWE to add in their games? They could go much harder in their career mode. Oh, 100%. That's a great point. I remember back when they had like the Road to WrestleMania, and you got to choose a story. Like for example, there was a year where it was like John Cena had a story, Triple H had a story, Mickey James had a story. I would prefer that over the what they have now, because like nowadays they have like the create a superstar, where you have to obviously create a superstar and then go through this story. I would prefer like a season mode where you can select a wrestler like the old SmackDown versus Raw games, and just rock with them until WrestleMania. But for sure, career mode I think could be revamped and improved 100%. Randy Orton, already have Ray in there. The Rock. Aside from that, I mean, it's really that. I mean, the season mode. Universe mode I thought was cool in the beginning stages, but like in recent years, it hasn't really been the same. I'm gonna include this Sean. Shinsuke won a Rumble, believe it or not. Austin, of course, won a Rumble. DiBiase was a runner-up. Is there a wrestler you want them to add in? I mean, there's a lot, right? I mean, in the last year, we've seen guys like Jacob Fatu, obviously. That would be super cool. Him and the Tongans being added would be fantastic. But in terms of like someone we haven't seen, I don't know. I mean, Jacob Fatu is the immediate one that comes to mind because I think it'd be super cool to be able to use him in... What else am I missing? I thought about this earlier. They don't have Vince in the game. I'm going to put Shane to replace him. Say his name and he appears. Joe Hendry is winning the Rumble this year. Joe Hendry would be a great one, actually. And like a DLC. That Kevin, to answer your question, I would love to see like a TNA type of DLC pack where we get guys like Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace would be cool, members of the Rascals, people that have obviously appeared on NXT. That's what I would want. I would want a TNA DLC pack. I think that'd be super cool. Also, Sanfran5, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you in the live stream here. Of course, we're going to be doing a Royal Rumble event, crowning the first ever, and really the only ever, Mr. Royal Rumble, to see who is the greatest Royal Rumble participant of all time. Salvi, who would be on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling managers? Mount Rushmore. Okay, so immediately, Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan for sure. Then I would follow that up with Paul Heyman. No hesitation. Those are the top two. If someone were to tell me, and Shane McMahon at number one, if someone were to tell me that Bobby Heenan or Paul Heyman were the greatest managers of all time, I wouldn't argue with that. Those guys are fantastic. But I'm going to lower that just a tad. But for my Mount Rushmore, like I said, I'm going to go Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman. I'm going to go Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart at 3. And it's not in order. The last one, you can really put anybody. I'm an old school guy when it comes to managers. Hear me out. I'm going to say Miss Elizabeth. And the reason I say... How ironic is that? I didn't mean to do that, but Miss Elizabeth, who was obviously connected with Lex Luger, winner of the 94 Rumble. Because Miss Elizabeth did so much for just the presentation of women. I mean, like, she had class, she had the beauty, she had the brains. I think certainly you can make the argument. So for me personally, again, it's my list. It's not the correct list, but it's my list. Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, Jimmy Hart, Miss Elizabeth. I heard SmackDown vs. Raw may be coming back in 2025. Not sure if that's true. I doubt it, truthfully. They have a deal with 2K. I don't see why they would, move away from the branding of 2K. It's the biggest sporting simulation game, obviously, because they have NBA 2K, WWE 2K. I would love it to see be the presentation, but I doubt it. Shawn or Stone Cold are probably the best Rumble winners of all time. I think the answer is Austin. Shawn going back to back and winning at number 1. But Shawn won Rumbles that were considered weak. The roster wasn't the best because it was during a time when WCW was poaching WWE talent. So I think Austin definitely would have been considered number 1. Kevin, you can also make the argument that Bobby is a GOAT commentator. Oh, 100%. But, my brother and I, we had this conversation about commentators, play-by-play versus a color commentator. Bobby Heenan is one of the greatest of all time, just in wrestling. You look at a guy like Paul Heyman who could do everything. He was he's great on the mic. He's great as a manager. I really enjoyed his work as a color commentator in during the Attitude Era and that early run in 2001. Bobby Heenan and Paul Heyman, I think, are one and the same, cut from the same cloth. Do you remember when Raw drafted JR to SmackDown and Cole to Raw? Yeah, I remember that. And that was a shoot. They didn't know that was going to happen. Their reactions were genuine. And I wasn't a fan of it because Michael Cole for me was always SmackDown and JR was always Raw. Good God, the meat on him is crazy. Lex Luger at number 2 here. Shane McMahon at number 1 representing his father Vince, who's been canceled by the WWE. And Randy Orton at number 3, who won 2 Rumbles. One in 2009 and one in 2017. Ted DiBiase, although he never won a Rumble, he was the runner-up in 1989. The Rumble that Big John Studd had won. And there goes Shane. I knew Shane wasn't going to make it that far, dude. Lexis King is doing so much better in NXT. That's a great comment. Lexis King, when he was known as Brian Pillman Jr. on AEW, was doing nothing. I mean, he was a part of Kurt Angle at a very early number. Brian Pillman Jr. was a part of that team with Griff Garrison and Julia Hart and was really doing nothing. The star that came out of that group was Julia Hart, and I love her work with the House of Black. But ever since coming to NXT, he's developed more of an importance. He's getting a significance, being associated with guys like William Regal as well as Charlie Dempsey, feuding for the Heritage Cup. I think he's doing way better. And I thought it was a bold decision of them to kind of stay away from the Brian Pillman name. They've been very... Wow, Stone Cold at number 6. They've been very particular about the legacy and the heritage of certain superstars. Obviously, the Flairs, the Rhodes, the Mysterios, the Guerreros. So for them to step away from Pillman, I thought was a choice. But I think it's working in his favor. He's kind of developing his own name. So I am happy for him that he was able to make the jump successfully. What's your personal favorite WWE entrance themes? And what 3 themes that immediately made you afraid? For example, if I hear Lesnar's theme, I'm So my 3 personal favorite entrance themes. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, is the greatest theme song of all time. It's so simple, but it's effective. When you hear the glass, you already know something's going down. Aside from him, I would say I love CM Punk's. I'm biased. So I'm a CM Punk guy. Cult of Personality, Living Color. It just sets the mood. It really gets you amped. It gets you feeling in that type of confidence. My 3rd favorite would probably be Edge, Metalingus by Alter Bridge. Those are my top 3. My personal favorites. In terms of the 3 that made me instantly afraid, I mean, The Undertaker's gong. You hear the gong, I mean, immediately you knew what was going to go down. Lesnar's a great option. I think Austin could also be in that conversation, but I think you got to go with The Undertaker being the most intimidating. Instantly you're giving that sense of fear when it comes to an entrance theme. But yeah, my top three though for theme songs and wrestling, CM Punk, Austin, and Edge. Those are my three favorites, and it could change. I think CM Punk would be the one to kind of flip because I also like Triple H's Motorhead, The Game. But to answer your question, Kevin, we're going with Randy's out. Randy on at number 3. If you're just joining us here on the live stream, we're doing a 30-man Royal Rumble that includes former winners and former runner-ups, seeing who is the greatest Royal Rumble participant, as it seems Ted DiBiase was just eliminated. Who do you guys think is going to win the Rumble this year? Both for the men and the women. I think this is a year where it's like it could be anybody. They really done a good job. Ooh, Macho Man. They really done a good job of like spreading out the field and making you feel like anybody could win. I know there's some favorites and potential leaders for the men, but I want to hear from you guys. Who do you guys think are winning for the women and for the men's Royal Rumble this year? Yo, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you, man. Rylan. Sanfran5 says Seth or Drew is winning it. The women's, I don't know. It's a good call. I mean, the women, I think anybody could win. I'm looking at girls like Io, Charlotte, I think should be the top considerations. Becky Lynch, I think, is also in consideration. Seth and Drew are good options for the men. I think you have to include guys like Roman and Cena, Punk even. I mean, it's really a who's who of potential winners. Who do you think should have been heavyweight champion that never was? For me, I think of Razor Ramon. Razor's a great pick. I think Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper for sure. I mean, as a heel, could really get under your skin, and as a baby face, you love him. I'm a big Piper guy. We talk about Hogan and how I'm not much of a Hogan guy in the 80s. Piper was my guy. And speaking of Scotland, Drew McIntyre coming in at number 12, the winner of the 2020 Royal Rumble. Oh, look at that. Kurt Angle, yep. That's right, Rylan. Kurt Angle. Favorite Kurt Angle match, Rylan? Or Kurt Angle moment? Kurt Angle never did win a Rumble, but he was the runner-up in 2002 against Triple H. And there goes... Oh, I was about to say, I thought Triple H was going to be out there for a moment. And, man, we got some eliminations here. Ray just eliminated. Shawn Michaels at number 13. Was that Gunther? Gunther was eliminated as well. I missed that. We're flying by here. We're at the number 13 mark. Drew McIntyre is my favorite. Drew McIntyre is awesome, dude. I love the work that Drew McIntyre has put in these last couple of years. There goes Shawn eliminated early. That was my pick. Shawn out by Macho Man. Drew McIntyre's on another level. And Seth Rollins at number 14. Not too far away from where he won. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 15 or 14 when, or was it 10 when Seth won? Yokozuna at 15, man. I'm gonna throw a poll in the chat here. Kevin says my personal faith themes are MVP, Punk, McIntyre, Broken Dreams. Triple H is King of Kings. Triple H, I think, has never had a bad theme song. But aside from that, I mean, MVP, solid pick. Punk, I mean, you guys know mine. He's up there. McIntyre's Broken Dreams was a great one as well. Soft says my favorite Royal Rumble moment was Mick Foley coming out with 3 different... Yeah, when he was a man... Damn, there goes Yoko. When he came out as Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack, classic moment, the 98 Rumble, the year I was born. So that one sticks out for me. Thoughts on Ready to Rumble movie and the downfall of WCW. The Ready to Rumble movie's bad. It's bad. The acting's bad. The humor can be bad. But it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love watching Ready to Rumble. I'm not afraid to say that. Is it stupid? Absolutely. Do I still get a kick out of it? Yes, I do. But the downfall of WCW, it's just the fact that there were too many cooks in the kitchen and there wasn't like a lead. They allowed the inmates to run the asylum. They didn't have organization. And towards the end, it was bad creative. And they lost track. Wow. They lost track of their stars. I mean, you had the real stars like Benoit, Eddie, Malenko, Jericho, all jumping to WWF. Oh, yeah. Big Foley came out 3 characters in this one Royal Rumble. Yeah, in 98. Good call. Kevin, I got Rollins or Cena winning the Rumble. Good picks, man. Solid picks. Cena's a great pick. I think you also have to consider a guy like Punk and Roman. For sure. Those guys, I think, are good picks as well. Number 9. Ooh, there goes Angle. Vince used to be super against guys built like Benoit and Jericho. Vince leaned towards guys like Hunter, Batista, and Lesnar. Yeah, because he was always larger than life. He thought they should be like real life superheroes and be like these muscular figures. But it's like pro wrestling is so much more than just appearance. It's all about work rate, personally. That's why I've always been a fan of like Brett, Shawn, Punk, Eddie. Like that type of a wrestler, those are my favorites. Don't get me wrong. I love Batista, love Triple H. But I lean towards those other guys that I mentioned. Cody Rhodes at 22 draws a really good number. And the ring is full now. Uh-oh, yep. There goes Sheamus, winner of the 2012 Rumble. If Jericho retired after his Y2J gimmick in 03, especially after becoming Undisputed Champion, he might have been the GOAT. It's sad to see him wrestle his iconic career away. I think, honestly, had Jericho called it quits after, like, 2010, because I really liked his stuff as a heel when he worked with Michaels in, like, 08. I thought that was great stuff. You could even argue what he did in Japan, leading in 2017. I think if he had to, retire, it probably would have been around the pandemic in like 2020, 2021. Because that, for me, that's when it started to turn. Right after we were coming out of the pandemic, that's when I think it started going down. Ryland brings up the Kane versus Kane imposter feud. Dude, I remember that vividly back in 06. It was like their way of promoting See No Evil. And fun fact, the imposter Kane was portrayed by Luke Gallows, also known as Festus. But that was an awesome time. I'm into those kind of feuds. I know some people think it's silly and it's stupid, but the more outlandish it is, I think the more entertaining it can be. So yeah, I remember vividly that Kane versus Kane feud. Good call out there by Ryland. There goes Cody. Boo. Dude, what did you guys think about the reception that Hogan got on the first episode of Netflix's Raw? Like, this man got booed out of the building. He was getting that Dominic Mysterio treatment where they were not going to let him speak. And there goes Punk. It's a shame. Undertaker versus Undertaker. Oh, back in 94. I think, honestly, when it came to Undertaker versus Undertaker in 94, it was all about the build-up. The match itself was okay, but I thought the build-up was fun. Bulldog, the runner-up in 95. Hogan's entrance in WCW was all the Hell Angels along him was fire. Oh, yeah. But yeah, when Hogan, I'll give you this. I was never a Hogan guy, but Hogan in the NWO and as like a heel, I'll give him that. He's cooler that way. I think he's way more entertaining. Hogan versus Cena would be fire. It's too late now. Their best shot would have been 05 or 06. And speaking of John Cena, right there. There you go, Kevin. And number 26, a really good number for John here. Seth's still in there. He's been in there for a minute. Diesel's been there for a minute. We still haven't seen Roman. Or Kane. Kane hasn't been in here yet either. Nice code red by Cena. Oh, and there goes Hogan. Awesome by The Undertaker. We love it. We'd love to see it. Bulldog? Bulldog out by Rock. And then Rock out by Cena. Wow, what a... Whoa. What a chain of events there, man. Hogan was such a cool heel. If you paid attention, he was fire at trash talking. That's what I think. Hogan's a natural heel, personally. I know they had the whole red, white, and blue, and red, white, and blue, the red and yellow, and he played the babyface for so long. But for me, he comes off as a natural heel. I think his heel work is just, it's way better than his babyface work. It just seems so natural. Because I guess he is a heel in real life. Was this 27? Roman. The OTC. Look at the list of names, dude, in the ring right now. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, John Cena, and then there's Kevin Nash. The first Inferno match was crazy to see for the first time. Dude, Kane and The Undertaker. I love the Kane and The Undertaker feud. Again, it's one of those things where people can consider it cheesy or outlandish, but the whole Undertaker versus Kane stuff, I loved it from beginning to end. I don't care how crazy it was. And there's Kane, right on time. Kevin says giving Hogan creative control was WCW's downfall. Giving a lot of people creative control. I mean, look at like Kevin Nash and how he ran it, you know, when he became the world champion. And that was the one thing I think was the problem, is they gave too many cooks in the kitchen. At the end of the day, you have to have one boss. And that's why Vince McMahon and the WWE worked so well, is because it went through Vince. I mean, yeah, obviously towards the end, decline. But at the height of its powers, Vince was the clearer guy. You had to get it cleared with him. Well, Shinsuke got a real good number here for Shinsuke. Because that's one thing, too. A lot of people say Vince Russo. That Vince Russo led to the downfall of WCW, but was also a huge part in the attitude era of WWE. Vince Russo was doing the same thing he was doing in WCW as he was with the WWF. The only difference is he didn't have McMahon to filter him and to kind of pick and choose the ideas. In WCW, it was like, okay, we're going to do it. But in WWE, Vince McMahon was the final say. All right, everyone's in the matchup here. Who's going to be the winner and consider the greatest Royal Rumble participant? All of them are former winners of the Rumble, with the exception of Diesel and Kane, who were runner-ups. There goes Batista, and there goes Bret Hart. We're down to the final 5. And there goes Shinsuke. Oh, nearly got him with the Superman punch. But the Royal Rumble, like I said, is just... This year you could see it going any way. You know, Roman Reigns just announced that he's going to be participating. Well, rather, Paul Heyman announced for Roman that he's going to be in the Rumble. We know Cena's going to be there. I'm guessing Punk is also going to be in it. Guys like Jey Uso, more likely. It's going to be a star-studded Rumble this year. I really think so. For me, there's a lot of intrigue in the men's Rumble because there's so many stars. But then the women's, I think, has a level of intrigue as well because you really can't call it. Oh, Undertaker eliminates Kane. How poetic. The Undertaker takes out his brother Kane. Seth Rollins could have kicked out the Undertaker. He could have. But it looks like... Oh, no, he counters it. Oh, there goes Taker. Hey, Sylvia, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you stopping by. We're doing the Royal Rumble. Sylvia says, guys, please don't judge. I'm here to learn about wrestling. This is my first Rumble. So what happens if you win? Does it mean you automatically make it to WrestleMania? So with the Royal Rumble event, it's a 30-man, or women. They have one for the women as well. You win the Rumble, and you earn a championship opportunity at WrestleMania. You punch your ticket, you automatically... Really, Diesel? Really? So, in this scenario, Diesel wins the Rumble, meaning he has the choice to face a world champion at WrestleMania. So, for example, he could choose to face Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion, or Gunther, the world heavyweight champion. It's the best way to get a championship matchup at WrestleMania. But yeah, essentially, you're right, Sylvia. It means you automatically make it to WrestleMania, but you get the bonus of having a championship opportunity. It would be Diesel. Like, of all the people that it could have been, like, of course it's Diesel. I'm going to go for a gauntlet eliminator matchup here. Let's go. I don't know what I'm feeling here. What's your favorite PLE? I mean, WrestleMania is cheating, right? I mean, I think everyone would say Mania, but that's kind of cheating. I would say the Rumble. I really like the Rumble. I mean, it's the All-Star game for pro wrestling. What is the best Royal Rumble in terms of roster? Oh man, that's a great question. A lot of people go to 92. They go to 1992 because it had guys like The Undertaker, Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. So 92 I think for sure is up there. Being that I grew up obviously in the 2000s, I'm thinking I really like 2003s because you had guys like The Undertaker, Young Batista, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Benoit, Eddie, Edge. Like 2003 is really good. Really enjoy 2003s, but 92 as well. If you want the universal answer, it's 92. Me, I really like the 2003 Rumble. Great Balls of Fire. I'm so hyped for the debut of Penta on tomorrow. Dude, Pentagon is going to be fire. I cannot wait for that either. That's going to be awesome. Against Chad Gable? Yeah. Sign me up. 100%. 97 was great because they had wrestlers from other companies. That's right. They had a little flair from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Mil Máscaras was in that Royal Rumble. Of course, he threw himself over the top rope. I don't know who I should choose. It's El Generico debuting tomorrow. Shut up. El Generico. Okay. I tell you what. First person to throw a comment on who I should be, I'm going to choose them. First person to comment a wrestler. I can already tell San Fran 5's on it. He's going to choose someone. The Iron Sheik. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I knew it. I don't think Edge is not in this game. Is he? I don't think he is. Because he went to AEW. If Edge was in this game, I certainly would have picked him. But I tell you what, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word. Where's Iron Sheik? There he is. 85 overall is not bad at all. But for real, though, use Eddie. Okay, he changed it. I'll go Eddie. Kevin, you were right there for Juan Cena. Oh, can you imagine? I love that one of Juan Cena. Lucha. All right, he says Eddie. Thank you for changing. I would have picked Sheik. Okay, Frodo. I'm gonna let you guys choose. There are 7 spots open. Throw out some suggestions here. I see 15 of you guys here watching the live stream. Throw out some suggestions and you're going to get them in this matchup. Obviously, they have to be male. We can't have females in the matchup. Bret Hart. Awesome. We got Bret Hart. If I can find him. Repo Man. Repo Man's not in the game, San Fran. You got to give me a name. Repo Man's not in there. JBL. Okay. Is that because he faced Eddie? Diesel. Oh, man. I guess we're going Diesel. I would ask if you want Kevin Nash, but you're saying Diesel. So we'll rock with Diesel. Just won the Rumble. Sean isn't in the... Sean 97's not in there. And you already got one. I'm sorry, San Fran. Bray Wyatt. Sylvia says Bray Wyatt. And then... Okay, I'll put Sean 94 just to appease because I'm a fan of Sean. So, hold on. Let me find him. Yeah, I'll put Sean 94. Sylvia says Bray Wyatt. Kevin says Finn Balor. Good pick. We got room for one more. What's going on, Muhammad? Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you stopping by. We're doing a WWE 2K live stream here. Just chilling out, hanging out. Muhammad says, I hope you are doing well, man, as well as your health, and same with everyone here in the live chat, especially on a Sunday night. Likewise, Muhammad, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. We hope you're doing well as well, my friend. We got one spot open. Who's going to name him? Pretty solid lineup, I will say. Pretty solid lineup. Eddie Guerrero, Bray, Bret Hart, Diesel, JBL, Sean, Finn. We got room for one more. Farouk. Kevin got him. Kevin got the last one in. We're going for Farouk. A buddy of JBL. All right, you know the deal. Gauntlet Eliminator. At certain intervals, people are going to enter the matchup. And it's our job to eliminate them. Rylan, can you put Doink the Clown? Put a pin on that. We'll include Doink the Clown in another matchup. Farouk underrated. High key. Please? I got you, Rylan. No worries. In the next matchup, Rylan, I got you. Doink the Clown. Thoughts on the Lumberjack stipulation? Not a fan. Honestly, not a fan of the Lumberjack. I get it. Like, it's supposed to keep the match in the ring, and... I don't know. Like, a Lumberjack match is not a match where I'm like, oh, man, like, they're going to have a Lumberjack match. I don't really care. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. It's what it is. Muhammad also, I'm so glad to be here, and I just wanted to express my deepest condolences to everyone who is greatly affected by California. My heart goes out to them first and foremost. Absolutely. I could not have said it better myself, Muhammad. I mean, all our thoughts and our prayers are with the individuals that are affected by by the fires in California. We hope that everyone recovers, all those that are affected, those the first responders as well, who are attempting to control that and contain it. Hopefully soon. Rylan, can you put Doink the Clown, please? I got you. Don't worry. Next matchup. If you had to choose lumberjack match or something on a pole match. Lumberjack match. I would go lumberjack match. Kevin, JBL made the clothesline look devastating. Yeah, dude, JBL. I've said this in previous videos. JBL was the one heel that I genuinely didn't like. It wasn't like, oh, I like to hate this guy, or, you know, oh, we're supposed to hate this guy. No, JBL was so good, I genuinely didn't like him. And I look back now and I'm like, dude, JBL was awesome as a heel. Give him his credit. Farouk, maybe to help out JBL. Ryan, I got you. Don't even worry about it. I got Doink the Clown next up. Promise. Promise. But if you ask me one more time. Muhammad Molina was found safe and sound, which was relieving. Yeah. No, there was a time there where people couldn't get a hold of Molina. And like apparently online there was a scare that she wasn't responding and people were worried that maybe, you know, God forbid something happened. But yeah, it was announced earlier today that she has made contact with someone. So yeah, thankfully she's in. JBL was a bully and is the reason why Mauro Ranallo left. Eddie's in. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I mean, JBL, I'm talking in terms of the character, was great. As for the man, don't know. But obviously there has been reports and, you know, I mean, remember the Blue Meanie stuff? Where he hit the Blue Meanie over the head with a chair and really overdid it at One Night Stand. But yeah, he does have a reputation that precedes him. What was one match that never happened that you wish did? Shawn versus Eddie. Shawn versus Eddie. That one's the matchup I wish could have happened, but you know, unfortunately, due to Eddie's passing, we didn't get to see that. Relax, man. Sanford 5, relax, man. He'll be next, Rylan. He got you next match. Oh God, you guys got me weak. Oh, I love you guys, man. Patience is key. Like, we had to wait almost 10 years for Punk to return. I love the Nation of Domination. Yeah, I mean, between Farouk, Rock, Henry, even D'Lo. Like, that was a cool, great theme song. Simple, but a great theme song. FBI was underutilized. A shout out to Nunzio. How ironic that Diesel goes right after Shawn. Muhammad Eddie died and gone far too soon. It's a shame that we never got to see his dream match like we wanted. Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie. I remember vividly finding out over the news. My mom and my dad were the ones that told me, and just following the news cycle and, you know, how we found out that he had passed. I'm very sad. Is he really going to take my pin? Nexus had so much potential. They did. But John Cena made sure to squash that at SummerSlam 2010. Doink won't be in fact. Oh, don't worry. I got Doink coming up. I promise. Doink is coming. What did you think about the PLE in Puerto Rico? Backlash? I loved it. The street fight between Damien and Bad Bunny, awesome. Cody's match against Rock, loved it. And they really I think personally, they're the ones that kind of started the trend recently about the international crowds being so on fire, like, because they really set the standard. I think France had a great showing, but Puerto Rico I thought was an awesome show. And then we got appearances by Carlito and Sabio Vega, so that was nice. Eddie passed away from a heart attack, heart complications in 2005. Some people believe it was in connection to his addictions. In his like earlier life, he had his issues with, you know, substance abuse, and it was reported as heart failure. Wade Barrett was the leader first, and CM Punk, yeah, from the Nexus. Okay, we got to start taking people out here. Okay, I gotta log in, guys, because I keep looking at the chat. I promise, Rylan. I got you. I got you in the next one. We definitely need a PLE. In other countries, I would like to be Mexico, El Salvador, Singapore, Mexico. You took the words right out of my mouth, man. Mexico for sure. I would love them to go to Mexico. And I mean, because they have the talent. You know, you have Ray, Dominic, the LWO, Logado, obviously Andrade, and then Penta. Like, they have the talent, dude. Imagine, I don't know what Cody's plans are for Mania, but imagine Cody versus Penta in Mexico for the title. I mean, I think Cody's winning, but that'd be really cool. Oh, did he hit me with a clothesline from hell? I gotta get out. I gotta get out of the ring. No, no, no. Okay, I was about to say. Japan would be cool. Give some love to Japan. I don't think they've had like an event since the Beast from the East event back in 2015. That Netflix, or the network exclusive. Oh, I had him for a possum pin. Hawaii? Hey, that'd be different. Oh, no. Dude, I'm taking a lot of damage. I would be the first one out. Jesus. Wrestle Kingdom, you know. Why would be like SummerSlam, for example? That would be cool. I don't want to miss the match. Did you guys go? Well, I mean, hey, I technically lost this match, so we're gonna keep it moving. I didn't mean to screenshot. Yeah, being that I was the first one out, that's embarrassing. I'm sorry you guys had to see that. I wasn't locking in. I was paying attention to the chat, but that's on me. All right, Riley. Armageddon would be cool. I think, hear me out, something like Cyber Sunday, because like obviously social media and the internet. I think Cyber Sunday would work, but I also think you can use that for NXT and make it like Taboo Tuesday. What do you guys think about next year's WrestleMania location, Vegas? I love it. It's the fight capital of the world. They have a great stadium. Allegiant Stadium is fantastic, so I think that's going to be great. Big fan of Vegas being the host of WrestleMania 41. Riley wants to know if it's loading up for you guys. Is everything okay on the live stream? Apparently for Riley it's not loading. On my end, it seems fine. I'm getting a fine connection on my end. I have it on my phone here playing, just in case I get to see the playback and that it's, you know, playing properly, and it looks fine on my end. I would have loved to seen something. Oh, Bash at the Beach would be fire. Bash at the Beach is fire. I like that idea. What about the next Royal Rumble? Oh, the Rumble in Saudi Arabia? I'm not a fan, truthfully. And it's nothing against them, but it's just their shows are more one-offs. So, plus the crowds, with all due respect, are not as hot as they are in other locations. So maybe they bring the heat. Maybe Saudi Arabia has a great reaction to next Royal Rumble, but I'm not really looking forward to it in terms of like the location. Have you ever been to a house show? We were at an NXT house show back in 20. I think it was 19. I think it was 2019. We went to an NXT house show. On the card was like Adam Cole versus Tyler Breeze. There was Johnny Gargano. I forgot who Johnny Gargano faced. I think he might have faced like Lars Sullivan. Do you guys remember? You guys remember Lars Sullivan? I remember Tommaso Ciampa fought against Velveteen Dream for the NXT Championship. We got to see Shayna Baszler was there. Yeah, we saw an NXT live event. It was cool. Doink was funny. I prefer the heel Doink. David Otunga's Nexus themes. Nexus had a great theme song. Otunga's grew on me. I remember early on I wasn't a fan, but it grew on me because I would play like WWE, I think 13. So it grew on me. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. The Blue Meanie shot. I think because JBL got Blue Meanie, and then if I'm not mistaken, Stevie Richards got the payback for Blue Meanie and got JBL on an episode of SmackDown. Doink versus Bray would have been a great match. I would have liked that only if Bray Wyatt somehow recruited Doink. They have a matchup. Bray wins, and then he, orchestrates this whole thing where Doink joins him as like a disciple. I think that would be cool. Has to be like the dark Doink though. I was never a big fan of the lighthearted Doink. I liked the dark Doink. Vince versions of ECWs in OA had a good intro. Oh yeah, was it like My Heart? Like, oh my god, yeah, I know which one you're talking about though. I think it was Saliva, wasn't it? Saliva did the theme song for that ECW. He did not. He did not counter that. Rest in peace to Bray. Yep. How did I miss that? Who would have thought Taker trading blows with Doink the Clown? What the hell? Oh, are they pulling that? Oh, no. The decoy Doink? Get the hell out of here with that. Rope break? Trash. Kevin, WWE Cook with that year's WrestleMania look. I love the green look, obviously. Yeah. That was a nice. I love it, yeah. I don't like the Eagles, but I was a fan of this look for WrestleMania. He did not counter that. How the hell are they having Doink being so OP in this? Do you listen or watch it? I do. Undertaker's 6 feet under. I don't listen to every episode, I will confess, but whenever it pops up on my feed, yeah, for sure. The podcast that I really listen to is like Chris Van Vliet's. I'm a big fan of his work. I like Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. I enjoy his stuff as well. Occasionally, good. I made him bleed. Good. Occasionally I'll listen to Cornette. Dula versus Mankind would be a great match, but they can't. It's the same person. I would only like it if they included Cactus Jack. Make it a triple threat. Time to go home. Hey, at least you got your Doink match. How many stars was this? 4 stars. 4 stars for a Doink match is not bad at all. That's actually really good for Doink. He should be proud of that. We talked about WrestleMania 40 and 41, but I wonder where they're gonna have WrestleMania 42. Because last time I checked, they don't have that announced, do they? What would be your dream match that never happened at WrestleMania? I mean, I would easily go back to Eddie versus Shawn, for sure. I mean, that match reportedly was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 22, so that for sure immediately comes to my mind. But as a cop out, I mean, let's think about something else, right? What about... Hear me out, but we never saw like The Undertaker versus The Rock at a Mania. Like, not even once. I think that would have been cool too. Or a Sting versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 31. That one would have been cool too. For sure, I would have loved to have seen that. Kevin, thoughts on Matt Cardona? Props to him for betting on himself. However, do you think he could have achieved the success at WWE if he stayed? No, I don't. I think it's just like Cody and Drew, where like they had to leave and prove themselves and make a name for themselves outside of the company. I would love to see Matt Cardona back in the WWE ring only if he's Matt Cardona, not Zack Ryder. That chapter of his life is done. But absolutely, what he's been able to do on the indie scene, you know, the King of the Death Match, appearing in GCW, in Impact, some appearances in AEW. I personally would love to see Matt Cardona back. For me, Demon Balor versus Taker would have been great. Oh, that's a good one. That's fantastic. Demon Balor versus Taker? That's awesome. Thoughts on the WWE ring having promotion brand on the mat? It doesn't bother me. It's fine, because it's like any other form of combat sports, like boxing or UFC. It doesn't bother me. What does bother me is, okay, for like Monday Night Raw, Fortnite is like the main one in the middle of the ring. I think they should have moved Netflix to the middle and then Fortnite towards the edge, like how Netflix is. But it doesn't bother me. What do you guys think? Are you guys a fan of the promotional stuff on the mats? The advertisements, I guess? Who would have been the bigger heel, Eddie or Dom? Eddie. But I do think Dominic is on his way. I think Dominic's a future world champion, man. I really do. I don't care what they say about his size and his presentation, but like he's improving. I think Dominic's a future world champion, and he takes after both Eddie and Ray. Sky is the limit for Dominic Mysterio. By the end of his career, we could be saying that Dominic is one of the greatest, I guess, third generation superstars, because technically Ray comes after his uncle, Rey Mysterio Sr. Rest in peace to Rey Mysterio Sr. But I think the world of Dominic, like that, he's good. I'm a fan. I think it would have been awesome too to have seen Eddie versus Dominic. If Eddie was still here and we saw him against Dominic right now, that would be cool. This right here is one of my favorite matches of all time. In terms of like my top 3 matches, Eddie versus Ray Halloween Havoc is a classic. It's going to take me a few matches to get used to it. 20 years of my life without brands, and boom, one day there's brands. I got to get used to it. That's fair. That's how it was with like the Prime logo. When they introduced Prime at WrestleMania 40. So I get it. It's going to take a second, but I think we'll get there. What's next for Dominic? That's a great point. I mean, the whole storyline with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, now that Rhea Ripley is seemingly done with Liv Morgan, where does that leave Dominic? I think that leaves him with Liv. I think what we're going to start seeing is the separation of the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Dominic butting heads recently. I think is going to lead to their demise. And maybe a fraction of the group, perhaps, we see someone like Finn get JD McDonough and Carlito, leaving Liv and Raquel with Dominic. I don't know, but I think we're going to start seeing the Judgment Day implode, leading to hopefully a good singles run for Dominic, because throughout his whole career, he's been, alongside someone, whether it was his dad or the Judgment Day. So I would love to see a heel run, a single run by Dominic Mysterio, have him challenge for the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. title, just depending on what brand he lands on. I just recently see a Benoit match. Man, he was like a mini Pitbull, vicious and quick. He really was. Benoit, I think, had all the potential in the world to be, at the end of his career, one of the greatest of all time. But obviously, due to the Benoit tragedy and what transpired in 2007, they will never acknowledge his work. For good or bad, depending on what you believe in. But yeah, Benoit was a beast. Do you think Eddie would have gone to AEW like Edge, Sting, Christian, and Chris Jericho? Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good question. Maybe. I mean, Dean's there too, isn't Dean a part of the producers there? Maybe. I think Eddie probably would have left the WWE at some point. Obviously, come back like Ray did. Ray was at the first ever All In prior to the development of All Elite Wrestling. He worked at Lucha Underground as well. So I think at some point Eddie would have been there, but I think through and through he would have ended with the WWE. Plus, it would have been a great incentive for him to work with guys like Phoenix and Pentagon, Andrade, Rush. Like, there's a lot of great luchadors out there outside of the WWE. My top 3 European wrestlers. Ooh, I gotta think about that one. My top 3 European wrestlers. So, it is technically Europe. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but is Scotland not a part of Europe? Because if Scotland, if it is, I'm not, the most inclined geographically. But Roddy Piper. I want to say Gunther, but I don't know if that's recency bias. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know I could do that. I'm gonna go Gunther. I know it's recency bias, but I'm gonna go Gunther. I'm gonna go Roddy Piper and Drew McIntyre. Because correct me if I'm wrong, is that not considered European? Again, dude, I'm not the most inclined geographically. Because we're not talking United Kingdom. We're talking, or like, England. Rey Mysterio is essentially Spider-Man. Yeah, basically. And like to see his debut gear in 2002 as Spider-Man, that's awesome. Will Ospreay is good also. Will Ospreay is good. I thought about Sheamus. I did think about Sheamus. Will Ospreay is a great pick too. Out of all the guys in AEW, Will Ospreay is probably my favorite. Him along with like Swerve Strickland are my favorites in AEW. But I have to watch more of Will Ospreay stuff outside of AEW to make that assumption. I'm a Piper guy, so it's tough for me to pick against him. But if I were to move someone, it might be Piper and throw in Ospreay. But Sheamus, I did think about. But it came down to Gunther and to Sheamus. I like Finn. I've always been a Finn guy as well. Darby Allin off the ladder onto a glass table. Dude, Darby Allin's crazy. Darby Allin's like a Mick Foley to the next level because those guys were able to put their bodies through so much punishment. Darby Allin, yes, is going to feel that into his 50s. He's going to feel that in his 40s. If he doesn't, like, tone it down just a little bit. I'm not saying he has to go 100%, you know, change his style. But his style is, like, it's dangerous. It's not sustainable. I don't think it is, man. Davey Boy Smith was great, and Dynamite Kid, agreed. Eddie versus Randy would be fire. Yeah. Just any combination of those two. You know, put them in the ring with anybody. Only 3? Eddie Guerrero, I'm convinced, could have a great match with anybody. It didn't matter who. Brett versus Eddie? Absolutely. That's another one of my dream matches. Brett versus Eddie. I would have loved to seen Brett versus Kurt Angle as well. Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, however you know him, versus anyone there. Bryan versus Brett or Eddie or Kurt. That little grouping, any combination will be great. Shawn versus Bryan, match of the century. And those are my guys, man. Everyone knows Shawn's my favorite wrestler of all time. Bryan, one of my favorites too. I mean, I wouldn't put him in my top 5 because I have other guys, but definitely a match I would have loved to have seen. I was almost there. Ooh. Favorite WCW moments and wrestlers? Sting. Sting's my favorite WCW wrestler. In terms of moments, and you know what? It might not be a serious answer, but do you guys remember that moment? Well, it was several moments, but when Sting would be like in disguise and have like his own mask on, and he would remove the mask, and it was just his face. I love those. I think those are hilarious. But to give you like a serious answer, him winning the title at Starrcade, I was always a Sting guy. But aside from that, the formation of the NWO was really cool. The debut of Scott Hall, when he came out and says, "You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here." Other favorite wrestlers from WCW, though, I mean, all the guys that pretty much jumped. Goldberg back in those days, I thought was awesome. Obviously, we know what happened in WWE, but regardless, Goldberg at his peak was on fire. Do you remember the alternative show, Superstars or Main Event? Yeah. It was during 2013. I actually appreciated it and loved it because it gave more chance, to watching guys like Cesaro. It still happens. They still have that show, Main Event. They don't do Superstars, but they still do Main Event. Saturday Morning Slam is a crazy shout out. Sting's arrival in WCW was disappointing. I thought his debut was awesome. What followed was disappointing. But his debut at the Survivor Series was pretty cool. Roman versus Batista would be fire. Yeah, but I think it's past that point. But I agree, that would have been a fire match. We kind of got a hint of it at the 2014 Rumble. And also during the Shield versus Evolution. That's it. I didn't even get to hit my finisher. That was such an... I'm sorry, guys. That was an underwhelming matchup on that one. Jerry Lawler. Shout out to. Wait, did I turn off entrances? I didn't mean to turn off entrances. Why does Sheamus look so much bigger than them? I'm hearing Drew McIntyre's theme song in the background. Yeah, that's right. Who do you think would have won if it was Austin versus Hogan at Mania? Are we saying like WrestleMania 18? Well, that was the discussion, right? Because like no one wanted to lose. Austin didn't want to lose to Hogan. Hogan didn't want to lose to Austin. If I was booking it, I would have had Austin go over. And that's not me being biased because I don't like Hogan. That's just, I think the smarter way to go is Austin goes over. When is this video going to stop? I usually run about 2 hours. So this might be one of the last matches, actually. So yeah, this might be like the last match that we're going to be doing tonight. To answer Ryland's question. Or we can keep going. I mean, it's up to you guys, really. Is Gunther in this matchup? Yeah, I'm using Gunther in this matchup. I say keep going. Hey, I appreciate it, Martin. Okay, hey, we'll keep going. As long as you guys are here and you're down to hang out with me, I'll hang out with you guys. Oh, he countered. But I countered his. I think they stopped running Saturday Morning Slam just because of ratings. I don't think a lot of people were tuning in. I mean, obviously it was designated towards kids, but I don't think it was a hit. They should definitely bring it back. I don't know. You don't want to oversaturate your content either. You don't want to have too much going on. I think right now the current slate of shows they have is good. I mean, people barely watch Main Event. The adult version of it? No, because it's a Saturday Morning Slam. If that's the case, I'm cool with just the way they're doing Saturday night's Main Event. Remember Heat and Velocity? I love Heat and Velocity. Now those were good shows. But it was basically like Main Event. How do you think? Who do you think deserves a Mania main event? CM Punk. Get in there! Get in there! No, you're okay. I was about to say, CM Punk for sure. Aside from him, Seth for sure. Seth's only main events from WrestleMania came from the tag team match and from a triple threat match that he wasn't even scheduled to be a part of. So I think it'd be really cool for Seth to have one as well. It's at the same time of Collision with Saturday night's main event. No, I believe Collision's a little earlier. Plus the next Saturday night's main event, I believe, is on the 25th. Oh, I missed it. Fun fact: the promo where Rock called out Billy Gunn was on yeah, it was on Heat. Good call out. Also, when Triple H announces himself as the Game for the first time, he says that on Heat. Appreciate all the reactions there in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much again for joining us here on a Sunday night stream. Oh no. This might be it. Oh, he kicked out. We got a match here, boys. Do you remember? Oh, Shotgun Saturday Night. Yeah. I remember that. I remember there was I think one of the more notable matches was Undertaker versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley and like a Falls Count Anywhere. I think Brett had fought Mankind as well in one match. But yeah, I remember Shotgun Saturday Night. Oh, man. Come on, Gunther. Whoa, what a belly to belly. No, I'm trying to go after Drew. Come on. No, yeah, he's the only one not to... Oh, he's going to win, isn't he? That's a bogus ending. He didn't even hit a finish. Yeah, the Irish pigmentation doesn't really do Sheamus much favors, huh? But I tell you what, he got the dub. Congrats on Sheamus. A little bit of color ain't yeah, a little bit of color hate nobody. 4.5 stars. Our best match tonight. The Celtic Warrior. Sheamus reminds me of Test a little bit. I could see it. Is there school tomorrow? I don't know, man. I mean, what's tomorrow, Monday? Yeah, I guess. I don't go to school, though. I don't go to school, though. I already graduated from high school, and I already graduated from college. So, I don't got school. We just work. All we do is work nowadays. But I mean, hey, if you guys go to school, then yeah, Monday is usually a day you guys got school. You guys remember this version of Rhea Ripley? He is an alumni of Chase U. Shout out to Andre Chase. What year did you graduate from college? 2022. 2022 I graduated from college. 1999. No, 2022 I graduated from college. It's really a shame what they failed to do with Shayna. Coming out of NXT, man, on fire. Associate, master's, or bachelor's. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications. 4-year university. Bachelor's degree in communications. I'm blessed to say that I was the first member in the family to achieve that feat, something I don't take lightly and that I'm very proud of. Graduate, like I said, the majors in communications, with the intent of utilizing it in like sports media. My goal going in and coming out of college was to join sports media, whether it was like sports journalism, broadcasting, something of that nature. And when we applied the jobs for those opportunities, they were all looking for experience, and unfortunately, I did not have that experience to give them. At that point, I wanted to work for free just to get the experience, but no one would take me. It's a very competitive field, and that ultimately led to the creation and the development of this YouTube channel, because it gave me an opportunity to work on myself in terms of speaking, presentation, and just overall work ethic when it came to producing my own content. So I said if someone wasn't going to hire me because of the lack of experience, I was going to make my own experience, and I was going to develop my own channel and create content for a large audience, hopefully. And with you guys continuing to subscribe and joining the main event package and showing up for these live streams, I decided to bet on myself, and we'll see. Disciple of the learning tree. Muhammad, was it your first major, or had you changed your majors before or previously? No, it was my first major. Because I always knew that communications was very broad. You can do a lot with communications, whether it's public relations, marketing, journalism, writing. It's very broad. You can do a lot with it. But it's also one of those degrees where I didn't learn till after. People don't really get to use that often because it doesn't really lead to something. But we forge our own path. And in my life, I've discovered that although I don't take the traditional route, in the end, I've always believed we'll figure it out. We always do. So yeah, I graduated in 2022 with a major, or with a bachelor's, I should say, majoring in communications. Oh, she countered. Was it hard for you to do, or did it come naturally to you? I'm also in college too, community college. Hey, congrats to you for being a part of community college. I mean, it's a big step in not only your development as, you're growing, but also in whatever profession you're choosing to pursue. Did it come hard? No, it came naturally to me. I've always been, decent at school. Not that I enjoyed school, but I enjoy direction. I enjoy, having set tasks. I'm very goal oriented. So it came second nature to me. School was never a problem. MCC, congrats. What are you planning on majoring in? Or I guess are majoring. Oh, I missed it. Oh no, that's two. I'm logging in. Martin, you said sports journalism. Does it mean you like other sports too, not just wrestling? Oh, yeah. I love basketball and football. Those are my two favorite sports. A little bit of baseball. I won't pretend like I'm a diehard fan. I'm a casual when it comes to baseball. But football and basketball, 100%, they're my favorite sports. In fact, this channel, in its infant stages, was about football and basketball. But it wasn't really getting as much traction as I would have liked. And so we made some changes, and eventually we came across this. I've been a lifelong professional wrestling fan, and it's something I certainly never get tired of discussing. So we made the pivot, and it became what it is now. But football and basketball, 100%. That's why you need to have a plan and find something that works best for you. It's all about implementing and applying new things, 100%. 100%. San Fran, are you from the Bay Area? I am personally not from the Bay Area, so I'm glad that you asked that. That's what I wanted to see from this live stream, is like giving a little bit more backstory for myself. We talk a lot about pro wrestling, but it's cool to get to know you guys and you get to know me on a little bit of a personal level. So my dad came from Mexico, and when he came from Mexico over here to the States, the 49ers were big at the time. They had won a Super Bowl. So he became a Niner fan, and through him, we became 49er fans. And we grew up liking the Giants as well. And so we were like, hey, we like the Niners. We have family out in the Bay Area that we visit on occasion. So we adopted the Bay Area teams. So I'm a fan of the Giants, the Niners, and the Golden State Warriors. Those are my teams. Ever since I was a young kid, those have been my teams. During the bad years, when the Niners were winning 2 games, when the Warriors were struggling with struggling with relevancy, those are my 3 teams. That's why the channel itself is in reference to the Bay Area. It's the J area, obviously, for our name, and for the Bay Area. I gotta log in on this one. I'm gonna get to those comments in a second here. What about hockey? You are like Pat McAfee and Jackie Redmond. Hey, I love Jackie Redmond and Pat McAfee. Those guys are great. I never could get into hockey. I really couldn't. I tried. You know, when the San Jose Sharks would play, I would watch. They made it to the Stanley Cup one year against the Pittsburgh, and I couldn't get into it. I can see why people like it, but it was never for me. And it's like no disrespect to hockey. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's boring. It's not. It's just not for me. Have you been to Levi Stadium? Yes, we've been to Levi Stadium. We've been actually on a tour. They have like a room where they keep statues of like Niner legends, and we were fortunate enough to actually go on that tour and go and have like a tour of the stadium and go and see the Niners Hall of Fame, where, like I said, they have a bunch of the statues. So that was an awesome treat to have seen. If someone said something mean to you, what would you do? You know, let's not pretend like the world's a perfect place. Yeah, there's been people who have been critical and have said mean things towards me, as I'm sure they said things to anybody else. But I think it's very important that you don't let that dictate. I mean, I saw somewhere a great point of view is like, how many hours are in a day? There's 24 hours in a day. Don't let someone for 10 seconds ruin your whole 24 hours. People can say whatever they want about me. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. And so ultimately, people are going to have their criticisms. They're going to have their compliments. But at the end of the day, I can control myself. I can't control what other people are going to say. I can only control my reaction. So when I decided to go forward with this channel and move into a more public figure and present my face, present my voice and my opinions, I knew there was going to be a chance that people were going to be negative and say things that may be hurtful. And luckily, I haven't had a lot of that. I haven't had a lot of a negative feedback from you guys, and I'm very appreciative for it. But I'm always in the mindset that, hey, at any moment there's gonna be someone out there who's gonna say something, and they're entitled to their opinion, just like I'm entitled to block them. So it's all good. It doesn't bother me, and you shouldn't let it bother you, truthfully. Jackie Redmond is so damn gorgeous. She's got great eyes. I will admit that. The first impression I got from Jackie Redmond was her eyes. Jose seems like a very chill person. I don't think he would be the type to take an insult personally. That's just the vibe I get from him. I appreciate that, Martin. And don't get me wrong. If people were to say something hurtful to me, I don't forget it. Like, it sticks with you. But I don't sell it. You know? I think ultimately what would hurt me more is if someone were to say something about someone I care about. Or maybe they're not here to defend themselves. You can say whatever you want about me, but if it's anyone that I consider family, then it's personal, right? That's just my perspective. I don't take things personal. There's an ongoing joke with my siblings, and I say unbothered. Because I genuinely am unbothered. I'm chill. I don't care. It takes a lot for me to get angry. So I appreciate that that's the vibe I give off. I'm just a chill guy. At least I try to be. That's why it's so good not to care what others think about you. Right on, Muhammad. Right on. But yeah, I think that's definitely something. Life is too short for these things, and mental health is real. Facts. 100%. Muhammad again with another bar. It's too short. And I also, so when I first started this channel, like I said, it went through some periods where it changed. And I was very skeptical of pivoting towards pro wrestling just because of the negative stigma that it's received. Some people kind of clown on the idea of following pro wrestling. Oh, it's fake. It's like, dude, so is any other TV show. Even reality TV show is fake. But one of the best pieces of advice that I had gotten pivoting into this was from Mama Ramos. Shout out to Mama Ramos. She had told me, hey, there's going to come a point in your life where you just got to not care about what other people say, what other people think. And that was just so profound. Like, for me, when she said it, it was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Why should I care what other people are thinking? I'm not hurting nobody. I'm just here having a good time. Talking pro wrestling with you guys, talking about life with you guys. And that first and foremost was my main priority, was talking with you guys, building this community, building this opportunity to just chill, man. Like Muhammad said, life's too short. Stigma can lead to depression and worsening mental health, and also suicide. You don't know what someone is going through. That's true. That's why, for me personally, if it's the golden rule, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. Don't say it. What's the point of saying it? But there's people out there who don't think like you and I. So they can say their stuff. They can have their opinions. They can have their feelings. But we're just going to go ahead and let that, brush off our shoulder, and we're going to keep moving forward. No sense in feeding into the negativity. There's just no sense. So we keep on keeping on. What a blessing to have a supportive family. Really? No, honestly. I never get tired of praising them. That's something I feel that you guys, upon getting to know me more, watching the live streams, watching the videos, I'm very proud of that. I was born in a situation, very fortunate, that not everybody is blessed to have, and I don't take that for granted. And to be born in the situation I have with the people that I'm surrounded with, I think is a very big reason why I am who I am. And I don't take that for granted at all. But that's why I enjoy these live streams. You know, on Mondays, obviously, we have our little talks about Monday Night Raw and whatever's going on in the crazy world of pro wrestling. The Thursdays, I kind of use as an opportunity to do rankings or just lists and just talk about like the statistical side of pro wrestling, I guess. My opinions on it. And then Sundays, I've always wanted to be like that extra day where we can just hang out, man. That's why lately, these last couple of live streams on a Sunday, I play 2K. Just as a way to just talk with you guys, chill out. Reveal the background if it's real. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, Rylan. You got me thinking you're a bot or something. What am I doing? I'm looking for S. I remember this WrestleMania when Cody made his return. Like, there was all these rumors. Did you see my comment that I sent you? Yeah, no, I saw the comment, Mohammed. I appreciate that. I sorry I didn't get to respond to it. I was picking a match. But no, it's true. We have to be kind to each other. Not every day is guaranteed. Not every day is guaranteed, and I think that's so important. It's a great point that we have to be very conscious, you know, about that. We gotta live every day like it's our last. And you never know who's gonna come and go in your life, so facts, Martin. Martin says you've always come here with positive words. Our world needs more people like you. What a great entrance, man. I wish they would get the timing right on this pyro. They never get it right. Hopefully in 2K25 we see some sort of improvement. Yeah, his entrance never gets old. It's true. We've been fortunate enough to see it live twice when they came to SmackDown back in March, and then when they came to Raw this past November. And I can attest, man, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's probably my favorite entrance right now. Jey Uso is really close. Yeah, It's a great song to sing along to, and the last times that we've been there, people sang along as well. Judas. Judas is a great song too. Chris Jericho's theme song, or his old theme song in AEW. To the point where people were singing without the song, like without the actual words. They were just singing it a cappella. The Alabama Slam. Shout out to Bob Holly. Speaking of Jericho, did you watch Jericho's match with Dax? I did. On Collision? Yeah, and now it's like leading to a whole 6-person tag matchup where it's the Learning Tree and the Death Riders versus like this whole team of baby faces, FTR, Adam Copeland, or I'm sorry, Cope is what he's going by now. The Outrunners. But yeah, I caught that. Rylan, I mean in the back of you. Reveal the background if it's real. Yeah, I mean it's right. It's behind me. I would, but it's like I got the gameplay going on right now too. So. Since I'm getting counted out right now, or that's what it looks like. That's behind me. Oh, he moved. Oh, he didn't hit it. I love hitting the Cody Cutter, but he didn't connect on that one. Didn't Cody and Seth ever face each other at Mania? Yeah, it was at this one, WrestleMania 38. Yeah, they fought each other at WrestleMania 38, followed by a match at Backlash. And then, of course, the iconic Hell in a Cell where Cody wrestled with a torn pec. All won by Cody, by the way. He went a perfect 3-0 against Seth. That's when Cody Rhodes made his return to the company after a long hiatus and somewhat of a run. Yeah. Yep, 2022. I want to see if I can hit this Cody cutter. We're going to have to take it. Wasn't the best one. Definitely my favorite wrestler right now in WWE. 3.5? I personally thought it was at least a 4, but we'll take it. Appreciate the hearts in the chat, guys. Appreciate the hearts in the chat. Nah, I don't know about one more run. It's time. Like they've done everything they could do. I think that moment that we got at NXT in the ECW arena when it was Bubba Ray and Trick, and then the appearance by Devon, I think that was good enough. I don't think they need anything else. They're set. They're made men, legends. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. They're set. Plus, I don't want them to overdo it and just tarnish the legacy. They've done enough. Okay, for real though, the fact that Angel Garza's over here beating up Bubba is kind of concerning. Can't let him get a tag. I'm trying to make quick work of this. That's a road break. For all. Who are some of your favorite ECW stars? For me, obviously gotta be Rob Van Dam. Obviously gotta be RVD. Aside from him, I love Taz. Love Taz's work as well. Dreamer. Those probably my three. Sabu's a great one too, actually. So yeah, obviously Monday afternoon you can expect an episode of the J Area Wrestling Podcast. Monday night we do a live stream following Monday Night Raw. Expect another live stream on Thursday, a little throwback Thursday live stream. We'll have that set up as well. We have our Friday listings, so keep an eye out for that. We're having content coming out. We have a bunch of shorts coming out. But of course, if you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date with all the content that we have coming out, whether it's the J Area Wrestling Podcast, the 3 live streams that we have throughout the week, whether that's on a Monday, a Sunday, or on a Thursday. Of course, we also have our Friday listings, whether it's the Friday 5 count or the Friday fast count, just depending on how many listings we have. Saturdays and Wednesdays we leave open-ended. Those can be clips, those can be one-offs, but we're trying to grow. Last year, 2024 has been a great year. 2025 we're trying to make it even bigger. So thanks to you guys, of course, consistently showing up for these live streams, consistently showing love in the comments. Make sure, if you haven't already subbed, make sure you subscribe, because it helps us out a great deal with the algorithm and the presentation here on YouTube. I can't thank you guys enough for the constant support, the constant love that you've sent our way. I will never truly be able to express enough words that really demonstrate my gratitude for you guys. If you guys are still with us here on a Sunday night, we appreciate you joining us here on a beautiful Sunday night here, live stream. Appreciate you guys. Muhammad, Martin, you guys stayed with us the longest here. Shout out to San Fran 5, Sylvia, Kevin, everyone that was present during today's live stream. Muhammad, one last comment, says, it was a pleasure seeing you today, and bye for now, and see you guys again next time. Enjoy the rest of your guys' night, and good night. Only if you have a great one yourself, Muhammad. Thank you again for the words of encouragement and certainly the words of peace. Have a good night. Take care, Muhammad. Rylan, take care. And Martin, of course, my friend. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you guys real soon. Everyone, be safe.